Welcome to another exciting episode of Many Hats of Business, the podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Gordon, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. On this podcast, we explore the realities of business and the many hats we have to wear. I'll be speaking to some fantastic business owners about their journey to where they are today, in the hope that they inspire you to go through the tough times so that you get to relish the rewards having your own business can bring. Before we jump in, a quick reminder to subscribe, rate and leave a review if you enjoy what you hear. Your support means the world to us and helps Many Hats of Business, the podcast, reach even more curious minds like yours. Alright, let's get started. Get ready to be entertained, informed and inspired. This is Many Hats of Business, the podcast. Hello, Jenna. Great to have you on the podcast today. Would you like to introduce yourself to the listeners that may not know who you are as yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to be here. So I am Jenna Dale and I am the founder of Because She Can. I am a visibility and confidence creator in the sense of I love to help women to really show up and stand out in the online space. And the way that I love to do this is to delve into who they really are as the expert, find out what it is that makes them unique, and help them create the messaging and the identity that they need to be able to show up and get noticed by their ideal clients.
It sounds amazing. And I know for you, there was quite a challenge in overcoming that yourself, wasn't there? To be able to, for all of us, becoming visible in business it's just such a hurdle really to get over, isn't it? And I know using your Facebook profile, for example, and starting to go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to post business stuff on my personal profile is something that we all just like, yeah, for a while, isn't it? How did that help you in your journey?
So visibility has been a massive part of my journey, and I think that's exactly why I do what I do today. I started out in a different business as a bridal makeup artist, and I hid behind my business for so long because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be visible. I actually had a really bad relationship with Facebook. I saw it as a very sort of negative place to be. I didn't like sharing my photos on there. If someone tagged me a photo on Facebook, I'd ask them to untag me because I had really low self-esteem, low self-worth, terrible anxiety, and most of it stemmed around my appearance because all my life I've been very, very aware of the way that I look in regards to my weight, and I've always felt like that it was something that made people value me, I guess, and that's come from a lot of my beliefs that I've had to unpick and change over the years. So it was definitely a massive challenge for me to show up and be visible in the online space. Because to be honest, I just wanted to be invisible. I didn't want people to see me. But I knew that when it comes to business, it become very apparent very quickly that your business won't grow if you're not showing up and being visible. And I know that a lot of women have very similar challenges when it comes to being visible in the online space because of that fear of judgment, the fear of what people think. Those thoughts and those feelings that they have all stem from them beliefs that they hold around their own self-worth. So it can be really, really challenging to, especially with Facebook personal profile. I think when you can create a business page, it's quite different because you feel like you can separate that from the people that know you. But when it comes to your personal profile, it can be very scary because, you've got people that have known you for years on there, your family, your friends, old school friends, and you can feel like people are going to look at you and judge you and think, what the hell is she doing? Like, why is she doing that? What does she sound like? Who does she think she is? Because we're trying to do something. We're trying to break the norm. And it's a really, really scary place to be. So, yeah, it's been a huge part of my own journey. But at the same time, I know how liberating it is when you finally get over that challenge and you can start showing up and stop caring about what other people are thinking.
It just does go back to forever. And, it's insert how you feel about yourself. For you, you said it was your size. Some people, I used to have really bad skin, to be fair, and it's not too bad at that. For a few years it's been okay. But for me, it was always about my spot. Everybody's got a different thing. And there'll be some people that it's the same as each other. And it's such that thing that once you get over it, it does make a difference. I mean, I used to hate hearing my voice on the answer phone message, and now I'm got a podcast coming out. You know, you're like, wow, never. You know, you don't see that coming, do you? But it is that thing of that personal growth of just keeping going. And yeah, you said something to me before about making yourself do the uncomfortable things because that's where the growth comes, didn't you?
Yes, absolutely. No one wants to feel uncomfortable. We've been conditioned over the years to seek comfort in everything in life. You know, we try and find convenient ways to do things. Sofas have become so much more comfortable. Beds have become so much more comfortable because that's what we want. We want comfort. We want to make things easy for ourselves. But the truth of it is, we weren't but we wasn't created to live such comfortable lives. And comfort just leads to being stagnant, really, when you think about it. If we get too comfortable, we're not growing, we're not going anywhere. So when it comes to building your business, nothing's going to make you feel more uncomfortable than they grow out of business. Let's be honest. It's going to throw up a hell of a lot of obstacles and challenges. It's going to push you out of your comfort zone. It's going to really test your resilience. You're going to have to build your confidence. There's so many things you need to do when you're building a business. And when you accept that with comfort comes growth and comes good things, you actually end up start looking for the discomfort, because when you start feeling too comfortable in something you're doing, it's easy then to see, oh, hang on, I'm not growing here. Something's not changing. I'm just stuck in the same place. So
that isn't a honest feeling, is it? You know, once it really starts to sit and you're like, yeah, it's like you say, it's that comfort isn't that pleasant, is it?
Exactly, stuck. No one really wants to feel stuck. And I think a lot of us that do find the world of entrepreneurship have probably been stuck or had that feeling of stuckness at some point. I know that I certainly did when I was working in the corporate world. I felt very sort of imprisoned and stuck in the sense of I felt unfulfilled. I didn't have a real purpose. I didn't really have passion. And I was just sort of plodding through life, just doing the day-to-day things that, you know, society tells us is normal. But you still feel like very trapped in something that you don't really want to be a part of, you don't really want to be in. So when you sort of discover, actually, I'm going to start a business, and you start realizing that the only things that are keeping you stuck is yourself.
We all struggle with that. Have you got any real tips for people on how to bypass yourself? It's like really that. Once you fix yourself, business is quite easy.
It's a journey. It's a never-ending journey. It's self-development, and the best thing that you can do is just become incredibly self-aware. So really start paying attention to, you know, your thoughts and your feelings really are the basis of it all. Your thoughts and your feelings come from your beliefs that you're holding. But if you think our thoughts create our feelings create our actions, and our actions create our results, if we want positive results, we need to start off with positive thoughts. And if we are holding on to beliefs and thoughts and theories and ideas that are not serving us, as in they're not positive and they're not going to help us reach the outcome that we want, that's where we need to start looking at change. We need to shift the beliefs that aren't serving us. We need to change the way that we think. And it's always a work in progress. You know, it's never something that you just fix it and it's like, okay, I'm good now. I'm like this. I've got this incredible growth mindset and I can never get any better. There's always room for improvement. But yeah, it has to start with self-awareness. Start listening to the way that you're talking to yourself. What thoughts are you having? How does that make you feel? Then if you struggle to think or catch those thoughts, start looking at your behaviours. You know, what are the habits that aren't serving you? What do you want to change? And then sort of work backwards. So how is that making me feel? Doing that habit, what is triggering it? What's the feeling of, low self-worth, or it's the feeling of lacking confidence, or it's the feeling of not being good enough? Okay, well, where's that coming from? What's the thought behind that? Well, it's the thought that I haven't got what it takes, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or I'm too fat, or I'm too slim, I'm too this, I'm too that. That's where it normally comes from, is the belief that we're holding about ourselves that we probably picked up from someone else when we're much, much younger, that is keeping us in those same repetitive thoughts and repetitive behaviours, which gets those same outcomes that we don't want.
I mean, just listening to you like that, I can tell that you're so passionate about the subject, and you can tell that it's really come from a place of working on you to be able to then help other people. I mean, your business name, it's so empowering, isn't it? And I'm sure like that alone like really would attract people to you. And then obviously hearing you and how you speak, it's brilliant. I mean, how do you help people best? How do people work with you?
Okay, so I mean, over the last few years of being a coach, I've helped people in different ways. But the thing that I'm most passionate about, and the way that I love to help women, is to help them see actually what are they really capable of. Help them see beyond the limits that they've imposed on themselves. Help them dig deeper into who they really are and what it is that makes them unique. So it's women that have, they've started a business, and perhaps, again, going back to that word, they've been a little bit stuck. They're not seeing the growth. They're not seeing progress. They're not seeing the clients come in. So we look at what is it that's going to really make them stand out and get noticed by their ideal clients, so that they're paying attention to them, so that they're stopping mid-scroll and they're seeing their content and they're engaging in, their stories, or they're clicking on their links to look at their offers, because they're the person that they want to work with, is that they're the go-to expert that their ideal clients want to work with. So, and that comes down to, first off, recognizing, okay, what is it that's really going to make you stand out? And working on their own expert identity. And that is doing a lot of the work that I've already discussed. It's the self-awareness, it's the personal development, it's changing the labels that we put on ourselves. So for instance, as I've already mentioned, a big part of my block was around my weight, and I was carrying this label of like, I'm fat, I'm overweight. And it wasn't serving me, because I saw that as an obstacle. I saw that as a reason why I could make progress, because people wouldn't want to work with me. People wouldn't want to be my friend. And by changing that label, or removing that label even, like instead of calling myself that and thinking those sort of thoughts around myself, is actually allowed me to progress and build my own confidence, and in ways that has allowed me to really show up and be visible, to change my identity, so that I'm not identifying as this overweight person anymore. Yes, I'm still overweight. I'm very aware of that. But I feel much more empowered in the sense of, I know that that's not a blocker for me. It's not something that needs to stop me, and I can just move past that. And I can actually find the things that I love about myself, rather than spending all my time thinking about the things that I don't like about myself. So it is like a complete identity shift in allowing women to see how incredible they are, see what makes them the expert, helping them create the messaging that's going to help them to stand out and get noticed by their ideal clients. And ultimately step into that identity of, I'm the go-to expert, I know that I can help you, and this is why you should work with me, with that incredible confidence that people want to see in the experts that they're going to work with. They want to feel that energy, and that's what it's all about.
It's amazing, isn't it, as well, because, quite clearly you're a beautiful person on the inside, you're a beautiful person on the outside, and we're always the last people to notice it in ourselves, aren't we? And I found it like amazing. Like, your first business was the perfect business to hide behind, because you were a makeup artist. It's the same as a photographer. That behind the lens, you're creating this transformation in people for their perfect day to look absolutely beautiful. You never have to be seen, really.
Yeah.
Because they see you, but you don't need to be in all of your marketing and stuff, because you can use these pictures of these beautiful brides that you've created and given them that feeling. It's so difficult then, isn't it, to embrace it and go, okay, well, I've got to be visible. People want to know me. If you're going to sit on that day when you're really nervous and you're going to sit this far away from somebody, and they're going to be there and see you and your nerves and all of this, it's quite nice to have seen that person and feel like you're going to gel with them and they're going to help you feel better, not worse on that day, isn't it? But
yeah,
to do that and to put yourself out is very difficult, isn't it? I mean, I know you said you didn't you didn't used to feel comfortable having your photos taken and stuff. How did you feel on that first branding shoot? I mean, talking about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, that must have been a bloody hard day, to get to book in and know it was coming and everything.
Absolutely. It was my first branding shoot actually came, my proper one came when I opened up my own makeup studio. So it's interesting that you picked up on that, because it's a great way to demonstrate the power of being in your brand, or being the face behind your brand, because I did spend a long time hiding behind my brand when I started my makeup business, and it saw very, very slow growth, and the people I was attracting actually weren't really the people that I wanted to work with. They were people that weren't really valuing my skills. They wanted discounts on everything. And in general, they were just a bit more hard work. So when I actually started showing up in my business and grew my confidence to be more visible, to really step out and be the face of my brand, and not only that, I discovered what it was that made me unique, that would make me stand out from a very crowded marketplace. I started attracting the right people, and it was easy. It became very, very easy to attract the right people. And like you mentioned there, brides will book in me for the biggest day of their lives. They need to be able to trust that I'm going to deliver. They need to be able to know and like me in order to trust me. So it's really important that I did start showing up and being more visible and really putting myself out there and claiming my place as the expert, as the person that, I had a very signature style that I liked to work with, and I knew that that's what my ideal clients wanted. It made it very, very easy. So my business grew very quickly from that point. My first brand shoot was when I was opening up my makeup studio in the town locally to me. And the difference between that, which was, 2018, 2019, I'm not sure now which year that was. Gosh, the last few years just become a blur, haven't they?
It's 6.
Yeah, and I can tell the difference. If I show you a photo now of my first photo shoot compared to the one that I've had most recently, honestly, it's like night and day. You can see the confidence through the camera. You can see the way I'm showing up is totally different. And to be honest, you just have to really start putting yourself out there and getting uncomfortable in order to get comfortable with a certain thing, because confidence comes from competence. You have to do the thing again and again and again in order to build that natural confidence that we're all looking for. So it really is a case a lot of the time of just like putting up your big girl pants and getting out there and doing it.
I'm a big one for putting the big girl pants on. And it's interesting because one of the reasons, obviously, I want this podcast to be there is for people that they're earlier in their journey potentially, and we all compare ourselves to others. Comparisitis is just a big thing. And what I always find is people never compare themselves with someone at the same point in the same journey. And no journey is exactly the same either. And it's interesting because if someone looks at your pictures now, they'd be like, oh, wow, she's really confident, she's really bossing it. And like that narrative you're putting out in all your messaging and all of that. But people listening to this now, they can see that you didn't just wake up like that one day and you didn't start business like that. You've worked bloody hard at that every day to be able to own that. And it is that thing of to get where you want to be. It isn't just about working like the physical day to day in the business or even the strategy. It is that working on yourself to do it. I mean, I don't recognize myself from 2018. So it's interesting you pick the year, and that's why I could pick it like as how long ago it was. That's the year I got divorced. And like, I don't recognize that person. I look similar, but I can remember in 2020 when COVID hit, that's when I started doing networking. That like 1 minute elevator pitch, I hated it. I'd sweat. Like, I could feel myself sweating as it started to come around because you think it's going to be me soon on Zoom. It's going to be me soon. And, we're recording a podcast on Zoom right now. None of us wake up at the stage we're in. We work all the time to get there. And I just want other people to know that they'll get there. You just need to keep on going, don't you?
Absolutely. Excuse me.
Do you have any like set routines that you follow that help you with your business and time management or motivation and things like that to help you to keep making that progress? Because for you, obviously, you've been working on yourself for a long time. It's hard sometimes just to keep going with it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, and this is one that I've always struggled with. Time management is, I used to be much better at this when I worked in corporate. In fact, it's one of the things that I liked about corporate is because there were things that needed to be done at certain times of the week, and there were people counting on you to get it done because they needed that information or whatever it was that you was doing. So when it comes to working for yourself, it's been a big struggle for me because I'm literally accountable to myself. And I'm at the fortunate position where I don't have children, so I do have a bit more time available to me, which also opens it up to too much choice because I can choose to do what I want with my time. So actually, it's been a real struggle for me is in, I could have projects that I'm trying to work on, but if I haven't got the pressure of getting things done, quite often it will be, pushed to one side until I get to the point where I need to get that done.
Yeah, now I've got a deadline, then I can do it.
Yeah. And equally, there's been ideas that I've been really, really excited about, but because I pushed them, it gets to the point where you're like, oh, no, I'm probably not going to do that anymore. So you sort of miss opportunities as well. So when it comes to time management, the thing that works best for me is accountability. I need to be held accountable. So it's putting it out there publicly and telling people that I'm going to do something by a set time is a really great one because I need to try and deliver on what I've stated. And equally, as a coach, I'm a massive advocate of coaching. Having someone that is going to hold you accountable to things is also a massive part of it. Like over the last 4 or so years, there's only been short periods of time where I haven't been working with a coach of my own. And I wouldn't say that I rely on it or I need it, but I find it very, very helpful and beneficial when I do have someone like a coach or a mentor that is holding me accountable to make sure that I get the things done that I know that I need to be doing in order to grow my business.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, coaching, it's a non-regulated industry and there's a lot of bad rep all the time on the internet. We're in an online space. There's a lot of, it just gets a lot of aggro all the time. There's always people falling out about it on Facebook and things like that. But I used to do horse riding when I grew up and I carried on having coaching weekly, monthly, all the time to get to that next level. And yeah, I could ride, but it is that thing, isn't it, of that external pair of eyes that in many other industry sports and things like that, it's fine. And it is something that's done. And I think it's just one of those things that for some reason with the business coaching, it becomes that, like, there's just this like stigma attached to it. But I think it's mostly because of like some of the coaches. It isn't like coaching is the fact that there's some people, but that's the same in every industry, isn't it? Where some people create this, bad reputation for everyone else.
Absolutely. I think, like you say, the benefits of coaching are incredible. Like if you find a good coach, I think anyone building a business, it would be beneficial to you to find a coach, someone that has, and this is what we need to put a distinction between coaching and mentoring and teaching as well, because there is the difference. So a coach is someone that's going to help you get from where you want to be to where you are now to where you really want to be. A coach, as they are, doesn't necessarily need to be someone that's already done the thing you're doing, but they need to be very good at coaching you to bring the best out of you, to find the ways that are going to work for you in order to get the result that you want. Whereas then obviously you have mentors or teachers as well who have been where or are at where you're trying to get to, and they can give you the step-by-steps that they've taken, or they can help you using their own experience and knowledge to make the right steps in order to get you to a certain destination. And they'll probably bring an element of coaching into that as well. So But the coaching industry seems to have created like this umbrella where we've got all these different people doing different things under the term of coaching, when in fact a lot of them aren't actually coaches, because like you say, it is unregulated. So you may have people that have done absolutely no coaching practice, no accreditation, no qualification, who can easily put themselves out there and claim to be a coach. And equally, there's people out there that are coaching or mentoring on things that they haven't ever achieved for themselves. So the thing is, it's a great industry. It's a very powerful industry that's growing incredibly. There's an awful lot of people in this industry that are here for the right reasons. They're incredible at what they do and they can coach, and they will certainly help you get results. But it's down to doing your due diligence and just making sure that whoever you choose to work with, if you're looking for a mentor, have they achieved what it is that you're trying to achieve or very similar? If not, then I'd probably just move away. Because honestly, and this is a thing, and we saw the explosion with it in 2020 when everyone was in lockdown and people were like, I'm going to start an online business. Coaching become massive. It's a huge thing because it seems like a really easy way to make money.
And it's for anyone listening.
It's very, very hard. It's a tough industry to stand out in because it's an online space. It's very, very noisy. So to find clients, you're competing against a lot of people that are doing very similar things to you, or are certainly claiming, and you've got people that are claiming things that perhaps that they're embellishing results. They're making themselves look like they're doing a much better job than they are. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. So it's about sort of like trying to pull back the curtain a little bit, trying to see what's really going on, finding someone that can actually help you, someone that's there for the right reasons. But yeah, it is a nice reminder, really. I can say that I've been doing this for 4 years now. It's not an easy industry to get into. It's not a quick way to make money. The majority of people actually end up giving up before they even get anywhere. You do need to stick with it, like any business. Most businesses, I think the average is like, is it 3 years, 4 years before?
Yeah, if you're to make 5, you kind of got it made. I think that's the thing. I'll have to check out the stat because we seem to talk about it on every episode. But yeah, it's with it in the first year, it was something like 80% of businesses fail. It's
nothing. Yeah,
it's not like you say. Coaching is the business in it, isn't it? You're not immune to the usual business fails, are you?
Exactly, because there's still stuff you need to learn. Like anyone that comes into business, I was grateful that I had a business existing before I got into coaching, and it was just part of my natural progression. Where a lot of people come into coaching that have no business experience, and they need to learn everything. How to market themselves, how to sell, how to create offers that actually sell, messaging. There's all these different things that we need to be able to do in order to create a thriving business. But if just come in as a coach alone, you're not going to do that. You have to learn the other stuff, or you're going to have to pay someone else to do it all for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny because obviously the business is called Many Hats of Business, and that's one of my big messages, really. It's not about you having to do everything, but you need to have a decent knowledge of everything to get that good relationship with bringing on people to help you, whether that's employed or, outsourcing. Because, God, we get it wrong so many times. People have a website built. That's one of my favourites, where you've had a website built, you expect it to be found, and it just doesn't, because you assume that they're going to do the SEO. And they don't, because they're web developing, not SEO. But, it's your first website. You haven't got a clue that there's even a difference. People, that's perfectly normal. You can't know everything before you do it. And I think one of the things I've really noticed in the years I've been doing this now is nearly everybody I speak to, they set up in business to do the thing they're good at, the thing they want to do. And then they spend 80% of their time doing all the stuff that they hate and they know nothing about. And it's like just this eye-opening thing of how tough business really is, in the sense of wearing all the bloody hats that you didn't ever intend to really wear, you didn't know existed, and you don't really like.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's coming back to the point we made about the this coaching industry that's been created is you've got a lot of people out there shouting about how easy business can be if you just buy their thing. But the reality of it is, I believe business can be simple, or business should be simple, but it's not easy by any means. Anyone that's telling you that business is really easy, that hitting 6 figures is really easy, that hitting £1 million is really easy, is lying. I'll stand by that. They're lying.
It's no behind you or next to you.
They're sugarcoating it because they're trying to make it that like they've made it easy for themselves and they can make it easy for you, so you buy their course. Or
and they're selling you something. But which is fine. There's nothing wrong with selling things, because like that's how business works. We're all trying to sell something. And to be fair, I'd like to hope we're all trying to sell something we actually believe in, else we shouldn't be selling it. But it's difficult, isn't it? Because you do see a lot of things pop up where essentially people, they're selling you how they did something. They're selling you the learning how they did it. It's like weird, this whole like cycle, isn't it? And then someone else learns it, so then they sell a similar thing.
Yeah, but that's when it almost becomes a pyramid scheme, like, doesn't it? Where you'll literally have someone that, I've seen it all the time, someone will make a 5-figure month, and then their next offer is teaching you how to make a 5-figure month. Now, for me, if I wanted to work with someone to teach me that, I'd want them to see that they've done it consistently for the last 6 months, not just what I might want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm doing the same in the sense of I'm helping women to increase their visibility, to stand out and get seen online, because it's something that I've done before myself. It's the journey that I've seen
consistently, haven't you? It's seen the benefit consistently.
Exactly.
And it brings back to that due diligence thing you mentioned as well, doesn't it? Because, yes, it's very good to have a coach, but it's not very good to have a coach tomorrow. It's good to do a little bit of research, take your time, check that your values align, then get a coach. Once you know that you're happy, and meet a few, have a few chats and see, isn't it, really? I mean, like for you, you're very strong now on your niche, aren't you, on who you help. And people are going to be attracted to the powerfulness of that message. And, you very visibly put it out. Everyone can see that, okay, Jenna's really bossing this. She's walking her walk. She's talking her talk. And I think if you don't rush these decisions, you can really make sure that's going to be a good fit, can't you?
Absolutely. And it works both ways as well, because I'll be honest, I don't want to work with anyone and everyone. We don't. We all have our ideal clients, as we can call them. But at the same time, we also have like our, the people that we really, really want to work with, the people that like us up just as much as we like them up. The people that come and because they want to take real action, they want to see results. They're not just getting a coach because it's like the thing that everyone else is doing. I want to work with people that are ready to make change, that are ready to create like them subconscious shifts, to do the inner work, to get really uncomfortable, so that they can make good progress and actually get results. That's who I want to be working with. So it needs to work both ways. When you're doing your due diligence to find the right coach, equally, you want to work with someone that really wants to work with you, not just because you're going to pay them.
It's funny, isn't it? Because actually for most coaches, it isn't about the money. You ask most coaches why they do what they do, and it's because they want to make a difference and they want to help people. And like you say, yes, you can probably help most people, but it's the working with the ones that you really know you can help and make a difference with that it's so rewarding, and it does light you up, and it does bring you back to your why you're doing it all the time. And it is powerful then, isn't it? And you enjoy going to work, and you feel like you could work all the time, and you have to be strict with yourself not to, because it's bad for you.
Absolutely. I honestly believe coaching is a beautiful industry. There are so many people that I get to meet that are here just to make a real change, to make an impact, and to help other people. Proper purpose-led business owners, and that's who I love to work with. That's what Because You Can is all about. Is about bringing purpose-led women together to support one another on this really sort of rocky business journey that we're all on. And yeah, it's just a case of making sure that, going back to values, finding people that have very aligned values to you is the best way to go.
And it is important, isn't it, to find your tribe as well, because having going into business and being on your own, especially if you've been from corporate and been in a bigger team, people can lose their way very quickly because it's just a lot to have on your shoulders. It's funny actually, because some of my pictures, I've had photos taken with multiple hats on, and the metaphor's heavy, but bloody hell, in real life is heavy as well, and it's just that thing of there's loads of places out there to meet people online, and you really can get this good relationship with people. Like you can meet people in real life that you've only known online, and you feel like you're meeting a long last friend and stuff, and it really does make a difference in business, I think. I mean, what's the plans for you with Because You Can? Where are you going next? What plans have you got?
Well, that's a big question. So Because You Can, so obviously I've got the Visibility Connection Club, and that's something that I'm growing. We've got a beautiful community there of women who just love to support one another. Again, it's very values-led. We don't really talk much about sort of money milestones, and I don't shy away from the fact that I'm not a big fan of money milestone marketing myself anyway. So that's one thing, growing in the Visibility and Connection Club. The other thing that I am focusing on this year is actually more in-person events as well. So I hosted one a couple of weeks ago, Unleash Your Inner Expert. It was just absolutely incredible. The transformations.
So it's the one in London, yeah.
Yeah, it was just fabulous. I was buzzing all day after that, because just seeing the shifts and the breakthroughs and those light bulb moments in people was just brilliant. And just bringing women together as well is something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm going to be doing more of that. But
I think that's really important to people as well, isn't it? Because in business, your parents have no idea what it is you do. Half the time your partner doesn't know. None of your friends bloody know. So having those people that are in that same boat as you, it might be slightly different. They might be going in a slightly different direction, but just that they get what you're feeling. When's one of those you're going to do?
So I haven't got a date yet. I've been asked by a few people now for a messaging workshop. People really want help with their messages. So that's the next thing that we're doing. It's likely to be up sort of more north, Birmingham or Manchester. I probably won't be in one hand. It's Midlands. We're not.
That's where I live.
Yeah, more north, not north. So yeah, it's going to be up there somewhere, probably the next couple of months. That's going to be the next one. But there's definitely going to be a lot more in-person events. I'd like to do a bit of a road show. Once I've done the big cities, maybe travel around a little bit more, because I know that location is a big one for a lot of people. They can struggle to get to certain locations for these events, so I might come to them instead.
It's true, and I think also it is when you see that there's an event that's sort half an hour from your house and things like that, you do make that extra effort to go, because you think, oh, that one's near me. It's never near me.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you a planner? So we've talked a little bit about what you're planning to do next. Are you I'm a business planner, it's all written down kind of person or not? There's no judgment here. I'm just asking because the people listening, they want to know. Because I think one of the first things when you're thinking about starting a business, and I want people to listen to this that are thinking of starting as well as being, in their journey. And I think the first thing we all hear is, write a business plan. And you go, flipping heck, that's quite a big ask if you've never been in business before.
I'm that person that I spent a lot of time winging it, I'll be honest. I'm much better at planning now, because I do see the benefits of planning and working towards targets and, setting yourself goals and then breaking it down into tasks and easy steps to achieve it. And it's something that I've become better at, but it's not something that I'm naturally good at. But equally, I also see a lot of people that can write list upon list and, all the to-dos, and they can write business plans and split their courses up, do all the strategy stuff and all the planning stuff, and then do absolutely nothing with it, because the mindset part needs to come into it as well. Having a plan alone having a plan start with is a great start, but a plan alone isn't going to get you anywhere. So I do a bit of planning. Probably I could do more. I'm being completely honest. I could be better at planning.
I need to that IT out there.
But equally, I think if you've got the motivation, the drive, and the right mindset, and you're doing that mindset work regularly, you're going to be you're going to take that action. Whether or not it's the perfect action, it should never be the perfect action. It should just be some form of action, because as long as you're moving forward, you're moving. Just don't say sitting still, just looking at your plan, wondering how you're going to make it happen.
Small, consistent steps make such a difference, doesn't it? I post a Monday motivation post in my Facebook group, and I talk about it being, you know, what 3 steps are you going to do this week? Because if you did it every week, tiny steps, you know, by the end of the year, that's massive. And think people, you know, underestimate that, don't they? And like think about the big steps, and you know, you don't need to. You just need to keep taking the little steps. And interestingly, on the subject of planning, I'm very aware that business does evolve and your niche evolves and things like that. Like, you know, if just before you're thinking of starting a business, you sit there and try and plan it all out and plan a niche and all of these things, there's nothing like that to stop you making any progress, because you're going to sit there and it's massively overwhelming, isn't it? And I think sometimes you just got to start. And it was good that you just said that. It's not about it being perfect action, because it's not going to happen, is it? You're waiting for it to be perfect.
One of the biggest things I've seen people get stuck on, especially when they're early on in their business, is they get so stuck up. Yeah, they're always stuck up. That's the problem. They get so stuck on their niche and their ideal client. Now, that's the work that I love to do with my clients, in the sense of really understanding who their ideal client is so they speak to them. But equally, don't just sit there trying to work out who that person is before you take action. You need to get yourself out there. You need to be showing up. Just start with someone. You know, just think of someone that you really love, someone that you know, a potential client, a friend, someone that you would love to help, and start talking to them. Not like, I mean that in a general message. Yeah. Not then about syndicate. But, you know, in your content, in your messaging, just start talking to that person, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to resonate with that. And then just, you know, like you say, evolution happens in your business. I'm not working with the clients that I started working with. My niche is very different to when I first started doing coaching. It just happens to change. The more that you grow as a business owner or whatever it is that you're doing, you'll start realizing who it is that you really want to work with and how you really want to help them. So just don't let it stop you from taking action. I see far too many people just sitting there not doing anything with their business because they're like, I still don't know who my other client is, or I still don't quite know what my niche is. I help with that. So if you are stuck with that, come and take Jenna. Yeah, absolutely.
It must be such an amazing feeling, especially if it's in person, and seeing that penny drop almost, and just seeing them light up when they've eventually figured it out. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter, does it, how long it takes, because the longer it took, then the more special that moment is.
Exactly. And I guarantee that, you know, we could sit and do the work today, and we could find your ideal client and your niche so you could get started, and you'll be really excited to get going with it. But I guarantee in a year's time, it will change. It will. So just get going. Just start moving, start taking action, stop waiting for it all to click into place.
But that's a great reminder as well, isn't it, about business doesn't stand still.
Yeah.
It does evolve, doesn't it? Your ideas evolve, everything evolves, because actually in business, if you're standing still, you're actually going backwards. So it is just that reminder of don't expect everything to stay the same, because one thing that is guaranteed in life, but in business is change.
Yes.
And it's just, the sooner we accept it and become uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, the better.
Exactly that.
Well, I think that's probably a great time to end our discussion really on that. One of the things I like to really help people with is, you know, I'm a big fan of personal development all the time. I enjoy reading, and I think reading business type books, personal help books, is really helpful because you can kind of do it in a bit of your downtime, but the ideas are going in. I've got an Audible subscription as well. What would you recommend is a book that everybody should read on their business journey?
I like you. I love Audible, because listening to a book when I'm doing my nails or cooking or cleaning or something like that, I feel like I'm getting a job done, but also learning at the same time. So it's like a double whammy. I love that. But a book that I did sit down recently and actually read cover to cover, because there's not many books that I've actually picked up and read. Really, there's probably a couple of handfuls in my whole lifetime. But one that I've absolutely loved and I can't wait to read again is Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO. Like, I love Stephen Bartlett anyway. I love his podcast. But his most recent book was just brilliant. It's full of incredible sort of tidbits and gold nuggets that you can start implementing in your business straight away. And yeah, it was very enlightening, and I'd recommend everyone gives it a read.
I need to get it again, because I had said to you, didn't I? I've given it away. I bought signed ones and gave them away, and I need to get it in paper, I think. But when it first came out, it wasn't on Audible, was it? I don't know if it is now, because I think I've been waiting for it to be on Audible.
I think it's there now. Yeah,
isn't it? Okay, that's it then. This month's book is A Diary of a CEO for me, and I listen to his podcast as well. I enjoy it a lot. So hopefully some people will read that and learn from that as well. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jenna. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Many Hats of Business, the podcast. Your support means a lot to me. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with your business friends, as they may find it useful too. If you hit the follow button, you'll be first to know when a new episode lands. See you next time.